Hey guys, in this episode of the Satanist Podcast, I'm back with Mark, the vegan mooncat. This is actually a part 2, so if you missed it, please go back and check out episode 4, or you may not be able to follow this episode very well. You talked about when you went onto Channel 4.
Yeah.
And I watched that and I thought it was great. I think it's advocacy, I think is the word, for a plant-based diet. You could see the huge difference that you had made. But I spoke to you about it, and you said that they cut a section out of what you talked about.
Cut a lot out because, you know, I'd filmed all day at the studio. I'd filmed all day at my house. You know, we'd filmed quite a lot of hours, you know, different things. And they said, talk about whatever you want to talk about, but we've got these questions as well. So I answered their questions, but I also... Well, before I say this bit, I should probably say to everyone who's listening now, I'm no longer doing this for a selfish, personal reason of my own health. Once you're not eating animals anymore, once you're not harming them, when you're not drinking their byproducts, when you're not in that system anymore, then you feel more comfortable with opening your eyes and seeing where those products came from in the first place. And it's inevitable. You start Googling vegan recipes, you know, that you're going to get like slaughterhouse footage up, or, you know, or what they do to baby chicks in the egg industry. And, you know, and how milk's produced, and you watch all these, and you watch the documentaries like everyone else does, like the Dominion and everything else. You also end up watching footage of it on YouTube, you know, from individuals who have been into these places, and you think, oh my goodness, I was part of all of that, and I didn't even need to be. And you know, in some ways, I don't want to dismiss the pig's suffering or the cow's suffering here, because I made my own choices. But I was looking at some footage of some pigs, and there was a pig, and it was trapped in this confined little space. You know, a mother pig, unable to move. Its life was the same day in, day out until the day it died, and it was in the dark. It was sad. It was overweight because because and I just thought, oh my God, it's me. Sat in a confined space, you know, not interacting with anyone, not living the life that I was meant to live, you know, overweight, you know, feeling sad and lonely and depressed. I thought, I am what I was eating. It's absolutely true. You know, that poor individual, you know, was in those terrible conditions, you know, and it was having the same effect on me. And I thought, I'm never eating those poor fellow earthlings ever again in my entire life. I won't eat anything that comes out of them. And I personally, people say, and people I know told me I'd brainwashed myself. They said, you've watched that much footage and you've read that much stuff about the animals suffering and what happens to them, you know, that you've brainwashed yourself now. I said, no. I said, you're brainwashed. I said, I was brainwashed. I'm no longer brainwashed. I have deprogrammed the programming that society has put in me. They taught me not to care. They taught me to close my eyes to the suffering that goes on in the world. And I've just chosen to be awakened, you know, and now I'm awake. I'm not going back to sleep, you know. So it's not me that's brainwashed. I've just unbrainwashed myself. And, you know, I think that is one reason why I am still, well, it's the main reason I'm still eating plants and not animals. Yeah. If I had done this just for dietary reasons and stayed doing it just for dietary reasons, I would have gone back to my old ways by now. I'm almost sure of it. Even though I've enjoyed eating, I enjoy eating plant-based foods, and I can get satiated. I'm full. Old habits die hard, you know. So you go out and you think to yourself, one burger won't matter, you know. So if it was just a diet, one burger won't matter.
It's easy to cheat when it's a diet.
Yeah, if it's just a diet and it's just for your own personal selfish sort of health reasons, which we're all entitled to be selfish about our health, you know, then it's easy to have a day off. It's easy to, but then that day off turns into 2 days off, and then you think, well, maybe I should have every Friday where I can do it, and then before you know it, you're exactly where you were before. But I can't do that, because when I look at a bacon sandwich, it makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
when I look at cheese or an egg, it sickens me. It's
Yeah.
not food. It's the byproducts of terribly suffering animals in an awful industries. You know, and I can't do it. I won't be part of it. I mean, sometimes people say optimal. You know, they're like, you know, maybe if you had 10% animals in your diet, you know, you'd be more optimal. Not that I agree with that. Not that I agree with that. But some people say, but people say, eating just a plant-based diet isn't optimal because you're missing out on something. You're not, but you're not. But and I think, well, so what? Even if that was true, which I don't believe it is, I'd rather be 90% than 100% if I could save billions of lives, wouldn't you? Wouldn't everyone say? It's like, all right, you could be 10% less of a healthy diet. By the way, I don't believe this to be true.
Yeah.
But you can save tens of billions of lives every year and immeasurable suffering. Would you live at 90%? I know I will. I know I would. So that's not that I believe that's true. I've been healthy and I've been in absolutely years. So or ever. So for as long as I can remember anyway. And I've eaten absolutely no animal products. I'm not dead.
No,
I was dying. I'm not anymore.
And so, how far into your plant-based journey, let's call it, how far into that were you when you decided, actually, I'm vegan now too?
It's hard to remember exactly. To be brutally honest, it was relatively fast. I would say it was in the first month. Within a few weeks. It's much easier to look at it when you're not part of it. If you know that you're eating a chicken, the last thing you want to see is how a chicken is made into the packet that you get in the supermarket, or you're buying a bucket from a certain company. But when you're not eating that, then it's much easier to look, even though it's still very distressing. So I think it was in 2 or 3, maybe 3 weeks, maybe 3, maybe 4.
Oh wow, yeah, very fast.
Within the month anyway. Obviously, I was still concentrating on trying to not die.
Sure,
but without veganism, and I don't mean plant-based now. Without veganism, I'm 100%. I would have reverted because of who I am. Because I'm no longer just doing it for my own selfish reason. I'm going to say, can I say this? And it sounds really weird, but I'm going to say it anyway. I know we were talking about the show, and I will get back to that. But when I was at my biggest, I didn't think I was any use to the world. I thought my wife and children would be better off without me because I'm no use to them. And when I'm dead, they will get insurance money, and that will be more use to them than I am. I thought to myself, you're not living a happy life anyway, so, whatever, you're never going to get away from being this big, so it's like your self-worth is quite low. So there's people go, well, why didn't you stop eating for the children? Why didn't you stop overeating for your wife? Because I truly believe they'll be better off without me. I got myself that low down that I actually thought I was doing them a favor by dying in a way. It sounds really awful and weird, but people go, it wasn't that I didn't care about the children. It's just I did care about the children, but I thought that I couldn't even go to their school because I was that embarrassed that their fellow children would see their father and see what he was and what he'd become, that they would have the rip taken out of them daily for it. So I didn't think I was any use to them whatsoever. So there's no incentive for that to stay. I have internal issues, about eating when I was my childhood and all those things, which is still there under the surface. They always will be. You can't get rid of it. But it's not just from, even if there's moments that I don't care about myself and I'm down and I'm thinking, the old feelings come back for a moment. Or if I don't think this anymore, but if I thought that the kids and my wife would be better off without me, which I'm sure, maybe they think they will, but even if those old feelings resurfaced or whatever, the animals are a different matter. just because I want to take myself down, or I think my wife, there is no upside to the animals. If I died, I thought I'd be out of my misery. If I was, if I died, then my family would, would be better off, would be okay financially and wouldn't have me as a burden.
Yeah.
But there is no upside to eating the animals. All I'm doing is harming something. All I'm doing is harming someone. So I don't know how to word this exactly, and I don't know if I'm putting it over right. But even if all those old feelings came back to me, I still couldn't come away from veganism, because I would know that I would be inflicting damage on innocent, sentient beings that need to want to live, and they don't deserve that just for my problems. I don't know if I worded that right, but I hope you get. I hope you get what I mean.
Even at your lowest, when you were thinking like this, even though maybe it's misguided, you were still thinking sort of selflessly. You were thinking about others. So even now, if that was true, which obviously it's not, you still wouldn't be able to go back to animal products because you're a selfless person.
Because that would just be insanely selfish to start consuming. I mean, I've looked in. I mean, I've not been down to a vigil or anything yet, because or anything like that. Rather than I've not looked at them in their eyes in a slaughterhouse yet. But I've seen their faces. I've been awakened to who they are and what's happening to them, and what kind of a person could I possibly be? To ever go back to that. Who would I be? I wouldn't want to be that. I never wanted to be that person. I always wanted to be the hero. I always wanted to be Luke Skywalker. I never wanted to be Darth Vader. I always wanted to be the good guy. And I now know that it's not a harmless chicken sandwich or a harmless a harmless beef burger. I know what it is, and therefore I cannot do it, no matter where I become in my life. And I know a lot of people say, well, what if you were starving in the middle of nowhere and there was a pig? I am not in the middle of nowhere. And it's not just me and a pig. I have like a million. There's a million supermarkets around me. Unless we have an apocalypse, it's not changing. And if I wasn't a desert island with a pig, he must be eating something. So maybe I'll just go eat the plants that he was eating. So I'm not in that environment. So stop. People should stop coming up with that stupid thing. I am not in that environment. If I was literally dying in the middle of a desert and the only thing there that I had to eat was like some bugs and stuff, otherwise I was going to literally die. We're all entitled to self-preservation at that point,
Absolutely.
But I'm never going to be in that position. So,
no. I mean, we justify cannibalism in certain contexts.
Exactly. So. I mean, people come up with, well, your ancestors used to do it, so they they used to do this and blah blah. Yeah, but they didn't have Tesco or Aldi. It's like, then I think it's Sperridge once said not long ago. Well, all the fruits and vegetables that we eat are unnatural because you shouldn't be able to get an orange or a banana or whatever in the UK.
I know what you're going to say. None of these farmed animals exist in nature. We made them.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing as well, maybe I couldn't have got my hands on an orange or anything else, or a banana. Maybe I would have struggled to get hold of certain plant foods. We're in a modern world. I now know, but I can get all these nutrients from from all these plants. I can get a variety of nutrients in the plants that I couldn't have got maybe a long time ago, where they maybe filled nutritional gaps with animal products, because they couldn't get green leafy vegetables for calcium and stuff. So they were drinking thinking that they had to drink cow's milk or whatever. I am not in that world. I'm in the future. I'm in 2021, where that is not the case. We have modern transportation, and I know environmentalists may say that we shouldn't be shipping stuff around, but there we go.
Sure.
But we have these things, so we no longer need to fill nutritional gaps with dead animals and stuff that comes out of them. We can just eat the nutrients straight from the sources, and that's just the way it is. So it needs to wrap the head around and come into the future.
Absolutely. And you're not just vegan, are you? You're a vegan activist.
I'm trying my absolute best to be as positive for veganism as possible. I unfortunately do have a stupid sense of humor, though. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, like on my YouTube channel, for instance, I do a lot of videos where they incorporate a lot of you play to your or what I think my strengths are. I'm not necessarily nutritionalist. I'm not, I'm not a bodybuilder.
Sure.
I've not got all these things to sort. But occasionally I can make people chuckle.
Yeah.
So I thought, how am I going to start a YouTube channel to sort of promote people going vegan and encourage more and more people to sort of like get the information they need. And I thought initially I started off by putting health stuff on and about what I'd done, but there's only so much of that I think I'm qualified to say. I can give you my personal anecdotal information and I can learn facts and figures. I'm not stupid, but there's people out there maybe. I don't know, more inclined to carry on telling you that day in, year in, year out. I don't think I am. That maybe there's better sources for that information than just listening to me over and over again, because I'm not qualified. If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
But what I can do is try to put over some core principles of veganism in a way which I believe people may take to more than other versions. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with street activism or cubes of truth or any of that stuff. It's very, very needed and it's extremely effective for a lot of people. But sometimes people struggle, especially when you're in the matrix. It's hard to see, it's hard to pull yourself out of it, and so that's where I will make my videos more lighthearted. There's a lot of comedy in there, lots of sketches, lots of things along those lines, with an underlying sort of tone of the truth about why you should be vegan. Because in that way, I'm thinking that I may get people who wouldn't necessarily watch a vegan video. And I actually have had, a few people message me going, I'm not vegan, but I subscribe to your YouTube channel and I watch your videos and I'm listening to the information that's in the comments. So, and I'm thinking, and they're saying, please don't jump on me, please don't jump on me, and say, it's like I said, and I've said, I don't mind if somebody who's not vegan is watching my videos, because that's the whole point.
You're right.
If only vegans watch my videos, what would be the point? I need people who aren't vegan to watch them as well. Don't get me wrong, I make some videos just for vegans to entertain us, because it's a harsh thing for us sometimes, and we need a giggle. So some of my videos are just for vegan entertainment, just to give us a cheer, and then occasionally, not occasionally, a lot of the time, I will then slip in a super serious video, like the one about the pigs and how they're suffering. So my theory is they'll be watching a bit of comedy. It'll have an underlying sort of tone about how why we shouldn't eat animals, and then they might watch this video, and the whole sort of thing combined sort of might hopefully turn a few people to veganism. And I put all the healthy sort of like good food that I do eat on Instagram and what I'm up to on a daily sort of basis, to sort of show people that you can live well and eat well while not harming animals, because sometimes people do think you just eat a salad, so it's nice to have those images out there and show people you are doing well. I'd say I do want to do other once we're fully out of lockdown, I'd like to do some street activism. I'd like to do these other things as well. But I think because of my nature and who I am, I'm not necessarily confrontational, so I would find particular like heated debates and table arguments and so, which I know you're very good at that sort of thing. I find it. It's definitely scary, so maybe one day. But I enjoy the thought that I can make somebody happy in one way and show them truth, and at the same time, by doing something a bit funnier. You see what I mean? We attack from all angles, Reese. Attack from all angles.
People have different personalities, and so we do need all kinds of different people. People, you show your recipes, that's helping people. Maybe they'll have a vegetable curry instead of a meat curry tonight.
Yeah, and while yeah, exactly, and I've had that an awful lot, and people have contacted me and said that they've switched to plant foods either entirely or partially because it's really funny because one of the producers who produced the Channel 4 show was on has now replaced a great deal of animal-based meals throughout the week with plant-based meals.
Oh,
She's
wow.
not vegan, but the producer of the Channel 4 show has actually started introducing more and more and more fully plant-based meals into her life weekly now to improve her health. But obviously, I've spoke about other things with her, and hopefully, more and more she gets used to eating that way, more and more of it will come into her and into her life, and hopefully, she'll make the change.
And
I mean,
obviously, she'll have a following too. So
yeah,
maybe she's posting photos or talking about it.
exactly, and she may just have a longer transitional period.
Yeah, maybe.
But I can't get everyone overnight.
No.
Get everyone overnight, even though we want to.
Just quickly before we talk about Channel 4, we were talking about your YouTube and your Instagram. So now's a very good time for you to plug that. How can people find you?
I am the Vegan Mooncat on both Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr.
Tumblr. Wow.
And
all angles.
And everywhere else. It's just I thought, if I'm posting one place, I might as well post everywhere else. But I really am trying to do the YouTube thing because I think video is very impactful, and it opens all kinds of possibilities to get through to people, because there's people that you don't get me wrong again. Please don't take this the wrong way, anyone. I believe like street activism is essential and extremely useful, but not everyone's going to engage with you in the street. Some people are going to go home and they're just going to, some people will, some people won't. And if you can catch them in any way you can, all the better. I'm just hoping that, it's like, oh, that guy eats, a really nice meal. What's that? Oh God, it doesn't even have any animal products in. That's amazing. And then they'll look at it and then they go, oh, what's this video that he said that he's put on his YouTube channel about pigs? I'll go have a look, and then they realize, oh my goodness, does that really happen? And then they'll think, but he's eating so well.
Absolutely. It's like a ripple effect.
Yeah, so maybe I don't need to be doing this this kind of thing either, and there are people that have contacted me and said that they've gone vegan because of seeing me doing so well.
Oh wow!
So
how does that feel?
Now that I am proud of that. Now that is one thing I do feel proud of, because I feel I don't I don't feel pride in things that I do for myself, but I do feel proud in the fact that I've helped some animals not die. And hopefully also, if they do it in the correct way, help the human to be healthy and well and enjoy what they're doing too, because I love humans as well as animals. We're all animals, so I'm not against humans being healthy.
Sure.
I want them to be well too, psychologically, physically, in every way whatsoever.
Absolutely. I think it's so lucky. I don't know if that's the right word. It's lucky that helping animals by not eating them also helps your own health and also helps the environment. It combats pandemics.
Well, it's everything,
all these
isn't
benefits.
It?
It's crazy.
I mean, that is the weird thing. We've got into. I don't even know how we got here. I really don't. I mean, I do. I've read some of the stuff, but I won't go on about it. How we've come into this industrial farming and everything else. But it's. I know we've always had some animal products in the human diet, since day one, practically. No one's going to deny it. It's always happened. But what was I going to say?
The scale of it now.
Yeah, but how we got from like doing that, to what we do now is absolutely mind-boggling. I understood that thousands of years ago, that they were filling nutritional needs in a certain way because there was very limited amounts of whatever, and then they needed to survive. We're not like that anymore, but we seems to. But we're probably living worse health-wise than we've ever done for the most part. We've got all the medications that keep us going. Like with me, it's like, my dad, for instance, bless him, he got to 85 years old. And people think, that's a good age. He did well there, didn't he? They don't seem to take into consideration, since the age of 50, he's been ill. He was ill. He's had pacemakers fitted. He had triple bypasses. He wasn't even particularly overweight, hardly overweight at all, to be honest. He was quite a normal build, and he wasn't a smoker or a drinker. And he had like all sorts of issues, like COPD, like a lung disorder, all these other different things. He had all these illnesses, cancers and everything, and he's had treatment after treatment after treatment, and he's on pill after pill after pill, and operation after operation, So he lasted, but only because medical science kept him going, and he didn't live his best life for those last 35 years. He wasn't in a good state. And I think that can apply to a lot of people in the world now. We're living longer, but only because of pills. And certainly not for a lot of the lifestyle choices that most of us choose to do. And there's, if you were a conspiracy theorist, which I'm technically not really, you think, well, that's really weird. They're feeding us all these animal products, which they know are the leading cause of all the diseases that are taking us down, such as cancer and heart attacks and all these
9 of the
things.
top 10, right?
Yeah, exactly.
With the 10th being accidents, like falling over. And...
So they know that they know that the science is there. We're not living in the 1500s or anything. The science is there. We know what's killing us, and yet we're still doing it, and the governments are still subsidizing it. They're still letting it all come into our food chain. We're all this sort of stuff's happening, and it's still killing us, and we're still letting it. We're still eating it. Still eating it, still doing it, and it's just, I don't know how we've got here, where it's like you look at somebody's plate and there's like massive scoops of mash, which is a good thing. Let's say like mashed potato, but it's full of butter. Some token peas which never get eaten, and then like piles and piles and piles and piles and piles and piles of animals, on there. How is it? How has it got to that? Where I mean, it's insane.
And people are eating meat for every single meal.
Yeah, and you go to the doctors and they can't help you other than give you medication. So they're like the pharmaceutical companies are making an absolute fortune. I mean, is it diabetes medication or is it medication?
Insulin.
All that sort of thing. That's a big seller, isn't it? And the cholesterol,
double whammy.
I think the cholesterol the cholesterol lowering medication is like one of the biggest sellers. I mean,
wow. I didn't know that.
That's a biggie. Cholesterol lowering medications, like massive profits for the companies, we make all the cholesterol we need. Plants don't have it, and the only place we get it from is animal products. So if you want to reduce your cholesterol, you don't have to pay a pharmaceutical company tons of money to do it. You can just literally stop eating animals, because that's the only place it is.
You want lower cholesterol, but you don't want to stop eating cholesterol. So
that's
you take
the
medication.
Thing, isn't it? That's the thing. It's like, I don't want to change my lifestyle. I want to carry on doing exactly what I'm doing without any changes whatsoever. And it's your job to make sure that I can do that still. You're the man in the white coat. Get me a pill that allows me to carry on and make zero changes. That's just not how that's not how it should be. So we need to severely change the way the world's working, not only to be honest with you, I mean, people worry about the planet. I think at the end of the day, the environment and the planet is a serious issue, obviously, but I think no matter what we do to it, it will eventually recover. Yeah, but we won't be
with
on
or
it.
Without us. Yeah,
we'll knacker it, but I don't know how long it'll take. A few thousand years, hundreds of thousands of years, a million years. At some point, the planet will fix itself, but we won't be on it.
And it'll be
anymore.
much healthier.
And it'll be much healthier. You know, it will fix itself. It's, I mean, you only need to look at lockdown when we stopped driving around and you know, causing so much smog and all the air traffic and everything else. It started to fix itself then. Imagine what it would do if we stopped kicking in its balls 24/7. It would be like fixed so quick. I'm almost sure of it. But it's crazy. I don't know how we've got to this position, to be honest. It's absolutely insane. I'm rambling and I've lost the actual train of where we were saying.
That's because it's so interesting. Like, it's so interesting, in fact, that we've gone over the hour we said, but in my mind, I've decided this.
Hold on, I said you could have 10 minutes.
If you're okay with that.
Yeah, we'll keep going.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So in the last episode, we teased Channel 4, right?
Yeah. Last episode, we Channel 4. Yeah, so it's I went on Channel 4, and as I said, it was basically a show called Lose Weight Like Me, and you basically had 4 people who had lost a reasonable amount of weight and improved their health on different ways of eating, and you had 2 contestants who were wanting to improve their health and lose some weight. And basically they they didn't see you or anything else, but they showed you a before picture to the 2 contestants, and then they explained what you ate and the kind of diet you were on to them, and then they picked one to be their weight loss hero to basically encourage them and mentor them for the next 8 weeks to help them lose some weight and improve their health. So that was the general principle of it. Walking in, I knew I wasn't getting picked. I knew I wasn't going to get picked, because we're back to where I said it's a massive lifestyle change, and people don't want to change. People just want a miracle, and it's just that the kind of miracles they're after just aren't around.
Yeah, that's right.
So I knew going in I'd really struggle, because one of the diets was reducing sugar. So one was a sugar-free diet, or processed sugars. One of them was a macronutrient diet, which is basically just monitoring your protein, carbs, fats, etc. And one of them was the paleo diet. So it's pretty much meat and vegetables. So, and then you had me, which was a Whole Foods vegan diet. I knew that it was going to be hard for the channel to, because this wasn't me telling them about it. They were getting told by the channel as part of the show. So they were telling him, this is Mark, he's lost weight on this way, and these are the sorts of things he eats, and blah blah blah. Do you want to pick him? Oh my goodness, I knew I would be a hard sell, but I didn't realize how difficult, how adverse the reaction to the
reaction was
would be.
Ridiculous.
It was insane. I thought the channel, I thought, put the vegan diet, the plant-based diet, the eating aspect of veganism over very, very well. They were explaining to them that it can be very healthy, you can get all your nutrients. They were, you can eat bigger meals, but still lose weight.
I agree with that.
And they were really trying to.
It well.
They painted it well. They really, really did. And then they said, the first contestant, they said to him, this is Mark. Before that, he said, so what do you really want? He goes, well, I really want to lose weight, but still be able to eat a load of food. Anyway, so this is Mark. He's lost weight on a Whole Foods vegan diet, blah, blah. Oh, vegan. Oh.
Yeah, he really said that, didn't he?
Oh God. He's like, I don't think I could do that. He was like, oh my goodness. And then they said, well, you can still eat all these, because they're calorically a lot less dense for the most part. You'll be able to eat big meals still. So because you've got a big appetite, this could be really useful, blah, 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 very sustainable. And anyway, he ended up not choosing me at all. He chose the paleo diet because he could still eat meat and some veg, basically. It's, meat and veg. Yeah. It's not a hard sell for somebody really who's eating the way he eats. Mine was, unfortunately, it seemed. And then the second contestant, her reaction was even more. It was like, then this is Mark. He's on a Whole Foods vegan diet. Vegan? Oh God! Oh! I can't see myself doing that. I can't see myself doing that for life, or whatever. It's like, whoa! Like, you're adverse. So she chose the paleo diet. So she chose the macronutrient diet because it's basically everything in specific amounts, so you can still
Yeah.
eat anything you want. So no, it's just like a restriction on the amounts of different things, not cutting out entire certain types of groups of food, if you will. So yeah, I was very surprised. Now the channel did paint it very well. The dietary side of the what I do, and
Absolutely.
the contestants had a terrible reaction. I thought,
Yeah.
and I still need to do a response video to that, but my response video felt like it was going to be negative. I started filming it, and I felt it was almost going to be negative because it was going to concentrate on the reaction of the people, of the contestants, and and the show was trying so hard to put a good spin on it. I didn't want to be negative about them, because I didn't want to, you know what I mean. I'm generally a nice guy, I understand that you suddenly say to somebody who never thought of being a vegan before, all right, you're going vegan for the next 8 weeks. They don't know what it entails. They don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
They literally do think they're going to eat grass. It's insane. No matter how much it was told to them in that short space of time, they just couldn't get their heads around it. So, but one of the things that I did speak to them during about the filming, which did get cut, and I understand that because it is a health show, not an ethics show. I understand, but I was really hoping it wouldn't all be cut.
Just get a quick mention.
Yeah, even a mention. I was talking to them about the ethics and how that keeps me on track, and being there for the animals is a really important part of what makes this sustainable for me, for forever. And without that aspect of it, I think, and thinking of something higher than just your own personal health or personal well-being, if that's all you're concentrating on, when humans aren't notoriously good at taking care of ourselves, so if you think of something higher than that, something that's someone who needs you to make the right choice because their lives depend on it, then you're more likely to stay on a vegan whole foods diet, which is also better for you, coincidentally. So, win-win. But I did go in, I did speak about the ethics part of it quite a great deal, and explain to them how I am now a vegan, even though, and I did ask them for right or wrong. They said, "Do you want me to call this a plant-based diet or a vegan diet?" And I thought to myself, well, maybe somebody would pick it more if I said plant-based, but I wanted to use the word vegan because within the vegan community, we use the word plant-based an awful lot. But I think to everyone else, vegan's the word.
For everyone else, it's interchangeable, isn't it? I think.
So I think just using the word vegan, because that's who I am.
Yeah.
And I wanted to use that, but I wanted to say that I choose to eat whole foods. So I did put that in there, but that was all edited out.
Yeah.
Every last bit of it, even right at the end at one point where I can't remember my exact wording, whereas mid-sentence I said something about the animals, and they cut that bit out and then joined the end of the sentence to the other bit of the sentence.
No.
Yeah,
really?
So there's one bit where it looks like it's a continual sentence, but there's a part missing out of the middle of it.
No way.
Yeah. So
how many seconds was that? How hard did they work to get rid of those seconds?
Exactly. It was like, wow. And that was right at the end of the show. I thought, I'll get it right at the end while I'm with the hosts and so just to make sure, because I've said it through the whole other bits of the videos. But if I say it now, there's no way they can get rid of it.
Absolutely.
So I'll put it in there, and they still managed to get it. I understand. I understand, and everyone who works on the show was lovely people, with all the best intentions, and from a human health point of view, I won't say anything bad about them, but I was even though I walked in there knowing that it was going to be a hard sell, I must admit, even I was completely and utterly shocked at the response of the two contestants. It was like somebody had. I don't know. It's like you just asked them to eat razor blades for a month. It was crazy. It was utterly, and then they asked one of the guys to name his top 5 vegetables. He said peas and mushy peas.
Yeah.
He couldn't think of a single other vegetable.
Yeah.
And I know you struggle sometimes when you're on the spot, but people could say carrots and sprouts and potatoes, and there's a few common ones.
It's like he didn't really consider it to be a tasty food, a vegetable.
No,
Is
yeah,
what I
not.
got from that.
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't think a meal is a meal unless there's an animal on it.
They do, yeah, that's right.
So they just, you can't imagine, they're so programmed.
If people want to watch this program, do you know if it's still on 4OD?
I think it's still on 4OD. It's Lose Weight Like Me on 4OD. I'm thinking it should still be on. Not for much longer, probably though. Okay. But I have got a copy of it, which I'll be, as I say, I will be putting some of it on my own channel, broken down a bit more. So anyone who maybe don't want to watch the whole thing, but the responses of the people and the way that the show portrayed the veganism and and my part, because even though they didn't choose me, I still had a lot of screen time.
Yeah,
I was still on screen for, I'd say, I don't know, a good 5 minutes. In total. So they went into my backstory and how ill I was. They didn't say everything, but they said some of it. They came to the house, they showed me with the kids. So they put a positive spin on it for sure. So so I'm not going to trash talk the show in the video, but I do want to do sort of a response video more to the fact of even when you're told that it's better for you, you still won't do it, because humans aren't very good at taking care of ourselves. I can't remember who I heard say it. He said, if you go to the like so many percentage of the people that go to the doctors, I don't know, I'm going to make up figures here, people. This isn't accurate. So say you go to the doctors and you're not well, and they give you some medication for it. Like 70-80% of the people won't take the medication. Mm-hmm. They won't fulfill a prescription, or when they do, they'll take a couple of pills and forget about it. They won't do it. Even when they because we just don't always do the best thing for ourselves. And even then, some people even do that with the children. They'll get a medication and they go, oh, I forgot to give them it that day and whatever. I'll make sure they get it tomorrow and stuff like that. So we're not notoriously great at it. Somebody gets like a puppy that that's got like a sore bottom or something, and the vet gives them a pill for it, they're not forgetting it. Every day religiously the puppy's getting the pill. But we humans somehow we always put our own health. A lot of us put our health at the back of the bus, and we don't think of ourselves as much. And even when it's glaringly, take this pill, it will make you feel better. Eat these vegetables, you will feel less ill. Stop eating that, you will feel less ill. If somebody said to you, "Oh, you're making obviously there's exceptions, but if somebody said, "Oh, you're making your cat ill because you're giving it that," then you would more than likely stop giving your cat that. But somebody says to you that bacon sandwich is killing you, it's like, okay, can't live forever.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's what people are like. We're not notoriously good at taking care of ourselves. So
similarly, I know it wasn't your main point there, but similarly, I think there's something intrinsic about people caring for animals. I think that we actually are a caring species for animals. It's just something's gone wrong somewhere.
Yeah, something has definitely gone wrong. That's why people tend to, they say they've got a medical appointment because they've hurt their ankle. People just, I won't go. It'll ease off. Yeah. The dog gets a hurt leg or he's limping. He's straight to the vet. We do have an sort of intrinsic need to sort of take care of animals and make sure they're okay, because we realise that they're more vulnerable and they need us to look after them. It just seems to end at the end of the fork. It's they end up. It's such a disconnect from what's happening. I mean, if they put an entire dead pig, in a supermarket on the shelf and said, "There you go cut it up," people may struggle.
Now,
when they cut it into a pork chop,
people go for a. Is it called? It's not a spit roast, is it? What do they call it?
Yeah, but you remember it's not the public doing it, is it? They don't have to cut the corpse up. There's a guy.
No, I mean like you go to a rugby club or something usually.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. And there's like a pig and it's spinning round over here.
Yeah.
and the cook, and then they're cooking it. Yeah, I get what you mean, but there's still somebody who's done all the dirty work for them to a degree, though. I
I see.
mean, even though you can see the pig, even though some people avert their eyes, and just wait
That's
for the
true.
sandwich to be passed over,
Yeah.
and some people look at it, and I don't know. I don't know why we've got this massive disconnect from it. I can't fathom it. And don't get me wrong, people. Anyone listening who's maybe not vegan or plant based, I had the same disconnect. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's just not something that. I know I'm eating an animal.
Yeah.
When I used to eat animals, but it doesn't even really come into your head.
It's not in your mind while you're eating.
It's certainly not. You're eating a bucket of chicken. You're not thinking to yourself about the. Maybe it's because we've never seen it. Maybe it's because for the vast majority of the part, it's hidden. And you don't get to see what went into that bucket of chicken. So it's easy to and people are telling everyone else in society. The amount of times I've had people say to me, "Well, oh, you're right, are you? And I'm wrong. Well, then why is 99% of the world agree with me and not you?" It's like, and because they've got the weight of the weight of the world with them, who says this is an acceptable practice, you just don't question it. Don't question it. Everyone does it. It's a thing. This is what we need to survive. We're top of the food chain.
We're going to leave it there, guys, because we have about one more episode worth of recording left, and then we'll finally be done with Mark. So if you want to follow him on social media, he is the Vegan Mooncat on pretty much every platform, although he does specialize in YouTube and Instagram. Remember, you can always catch me at Peace with Rhys, that's RHYS, and I'll see you all again real soon. Thanks for listening.